Our final speaker will be Fonfa, president of the Annie Appleseed Project. She's a Q member, and she's going to talk about her vision for PCORI. Sorry, she's going to talk about her experience as a member of, as a peer reviewer. Anne.
So I don't have slides as a patient advocate and somebody whose right hand is harmed. But what I want to say is I was really excited when I first heard about PCORI. The idea of patient-centered outcomes seemed to me what all of us were aiming for when we got involved in advocacy to begin with. And in fact, I can't actually imagine any other kind of outcomes that would be important. So I applied to be part of it, and I had, because I am a cancer advocate and because I'm personally a breast cancer survivor, I've been trained by the National Breast Cancer Project LEAD program, which trains people on understanding science, understanding papers, understanding reviews. But still, you know, as the last speaker just said, the data is often very complicated, and I find it myself, even after almost 20 years of reading papers and looking through things, and probably all of you feel the same way. Sometimes the conclusion doesn't match the beginning and so on. It can be very difficult. So I was excited to be part of this process. And when I got there, we were trained. I guess because we were the first group, the training was, was really intense. And a lot of people were very, very excited to have it because they hadn't had any training. And, you know, we can declare ourselves advocates, but it doesn't mean that we understand what our role really is. And so that part was very exciting. I had also contributed comments to PCORI before I knew that I would be a reviewer. And my comments basically were that I thought we needed wider entry criteria for relevance to trials. You know, that's been a concern of mine for years, that trials are so narrow that when they get out, the community really can't go forward with the information because almost everybody in our country has comorbidities. I now know a lot about those. And the research-generated information isn't appropriate. So I was excited with the idea that patient-centered might make a difference in that regard, that we would find information that would be helpful for more people within any of the communities that were involved in the trial. Then I thought, of course, that patient advocates needed to be involved as soon as possible on any and all committees, and that remains to me a great concern. I think John covered it in the last panel. Doctors who have cancer, for example, that's my area of expertise, you know, feel that they're advocates, but their care, their understanding of their care, and the outcomes may be different because of the way that they see things. And a patient advocate comes in, or a patient rather, if someone comes in and becomes a patient, they don't have any experience in the field at all. They don't know what's going to happen. So their experience of the information and the way they process it, and when they become an advocate, it's, in my mind, always different than a doctor or nurse or professional person. And that's going to be from the beginning. And then I also mentioned to PCORI that I was concerned about vulnerable communities, and I was very excited when I saw the communication about the outreach to the Latina and Latino communities, and I like that you broke it out separately. That's really cool. I was concerned about conflicts of interest in reviewers, researchers, and the participants, and I wondered what the waiver policy was. We all know FDA has a ridiculous waiver policy. You can come out with the exact problem that that's your conflict of interest, and you can be waived, and that's absurd. And I was worried how that was going to go. And then, you know, I wanted to make sure there were not publication biases, that things that were researched, everything got published, and there was great transparency. And I'm hoping that that will be followed through. I know there's been a lot of great promises, and all of us are really excited about what may come out of this, and hopefully it will. And then, you know, my area of expertise within cancer research and cancer activities has been the involvement of the natural approaches, lifestyle issues. And when I listen to people talk about illness, and somebody said in the last panel, you know, everybody's going in less healthy than ever before because everybody in this country, mostly, not eating enough fruits and vegetables, not taking enough physical activity, not taking any time to enjoy life. And this is across the board, and I think it impacts all illness. So I wrote that down too, that I was really concerned about it. And okay, so I think it just came up for me recently because I've always been interested in clinical trials that include healthy behaviors. And I didn't see where it didn't cost any extra money to give people some health information. And again, in the last panel, I felt like that was skipped over when people were talking about what screening can we give people to do prevention. In my mind, prevention has to be about, and I'm hoping this will be part of the patient-centered outcomes, the idea of giving people information that will make them healthier, so that, and it doesn't cost anything. It's a health activity that everyone can incorporate, and I'm hoping that is understood as part of PCOR. And then, because I'm involved in the world of complementary medicine, I just wanted to say that that world reported on PCORI very excitedly, because they had the information that the improving health systems included integrative healthcare providers, complementary and alternative medicine providers. And that's really exciting, because mainstream medicine kind of flips it off with no evidence. It says, oh, we can't possibly listen to people who are doing complementary stuff because what's it based on? But in fact, there's another opportunity here for that to be part of it, and I'm hoping that that really follows through. It's very exciting to me if that does. And recently, I tried to find information about the percentage of harms or adverse effects from chemotherapy, and I called 1-800-for-cancer, and they actually couldn't give me that information, because that, which I think would be patient-centered to the max, is not available. So one of the great things that I hope to come out of the whole PCORI focus is getting information that people really, really need. So if you're going to take chemotherapy and you ask your doctor what percentage of people taking chemo will be harmed, even though it doesn't necessarily apply to you personally, that question can't be answered. And to me, that seemed like the most basic of questions. So I have great hopes for the future. Thank you.